What's up, everybody? Back with our best bets for week 7 in the NFL. Let's get into it. Looking at what we did last week, terrible week for us to pick overs. It was just an historic week for unders. The Bears +3 was an emotional play with me being at the game. Didn't help that Justin Fields got taken out there too. But Cowboys never a doubt, and I said that the Jets were the best part of that teaser, never a doubt there. The Commanders took care of business too. So ended up losing half a unit to the juice this week, but looking to get after it again this week. So always, if you're using these bets, I implore you to subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to us and a little bit of validation that we're doing something right here. First game to talk about, probably the best game of the week, would be the Dolphins facing the Eagles, 2-5-1 teams here. Surprising to me, and maybe some others, that the Eagles were the favorite here, -2. It's actually now at -2.5 in favor of the Eagles. And I think this is because this is a team that has been around the block, obviously in the Super Bowl last year, and knows what it takes to compete against good teams. For the Dolphins, I don't think you can say the same. When they did play competitive, contending teams here in the Buffalo Bills, they didn't do nearly as well as they had against other teams. I think this is another big test 2 for the Dolphins, and we're going to see if they can step up. I think originally I'm leaning Eagles money line and Eagles spread here, just based on the public money and the fact that I think their defense is better than most of the defenses that the Dolphins have faced this year, because I don't think they've had that much competition on the defensive side of the football. But that being said, I haven't loved the way the Eagles have looked recently either. I said their defense is better than most defenses that the Dolphins played, but they're still underperforming, especially when you compare to how they played last year. And their offense has not looked nearly as good since Shane Steichen, the OC, has left. Jalen Hurts especially is suffering the passing game. Just has not looked to have his groove like they did last year. Hopefully getting Julio Jones on the team will get him back in rhythm, but I don't think that effect will take into place this quickly or at all. So what I do like, given that I think the Dolphins are going to struggle in quotations for the Dolphins, because they don't really struggle against many defenses at all. I think they're going to be somewhat limited against this Eagles defense, and with the way this Eagles offense has looked, I think I like the under here. The Dolphins have a pretty stingy defense too. I was looking at Pro Football Focus and was a little bit surprised to see how highly they were ranked defensively. The Dolphins here have the number 5 best defense in the league. According to PFF, overall defensive rankings, heavily carried, actually very well balanced between pass rush, coverage, run defense, very all-around solid defense here. So that, given the offense struggles with the Eagles and the fact that the Dolphins facing a top 10 defense unit with the Eagles here, I like the under at 52 in this game. Moving on, we've got the Colts hosting the Browns. Browns have a nice upset win against the 49ers here, but an extremely low total with a couple backup quarterbacks playing here. No surprise, these teams are built very similarly. Very strong offensive lines, really strong run game regardless who's carrying the ball in the backfield. A couple offensive playmakers, but nothing to write home about, and very, very solid defenses. This Browns defense, while they're only getting the 9th best ranked defensive team in defensive grade from Pro Football Focus, they are allowing the lowest yards per game in the league by a wide margin. These guys are insane, especially when you look at their pass rush. The guys obviously led by Myles Garrett here. I like the Colts. I like their run game. I like their offensive line, but I think that this Browns defense is too good for the Colts to maybe win this game. But I do think the Colts defense doesn't get a lot of credit. I think they know how to win tight ball or compete in tight ball games, as they have all year. I don't think they're facing too tough a competition in the Browns here with whoever is at quarterback. Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, decent at running back there, but nothing that scares me too much. I don't think the Colts can win this game, but with this low of a total and at home, I really like the teasing of the spread here. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of running the ball this game. That's both these teams' MO. Control the ball, control the clock, probably trade off some field goals. I wouldn't expect too many touchdowns, especially for the Colts. So I like the under here, but I do like them to keep it close, because I don't think the Browns put up much points either. I think it's going to be an extremely low scoring game. very similar situation here that I don't need to talk too much about, but low total, home team, +2 is a great number to tease for the Giants here. Goes through 3 points, so if they lose by 3, I cover myself, and same if they lose by 7. I think the Giants look very good against the Bills. One play away on the 1-yard line from winning that game. The Commanders on the road for a second straight week, maybe flying a little too high, but I think the divisional opponent, especially in the NFC East, it seems like it's anyone's grab. You can remember a couple of weeks back where the Commanders took the Eagles to overtime after looking terrible all season long up to that point. Anything could happen against divisional opponents, and I think the Giants are desperate for a win, as you saw against Buffalo. So their defense is looking a little bit better too because of that desperation. Saquon Barkley back and healthy gives his team a boost as well. I think teasing the Giants here is a great spot. This one here is a really favorite pick of mine this week. It's the Steelers +3 tease to +9. I think it even might be 3.5 now. Got it at +3. And the reason is simple. This team is coming off a bye where Mike Tomlin is 12-4 coming off a bye in his career and 6-0 in the last 6 years. So this is really a play of this team and this coaching staff knows how to prepare off a bye week for their opponent. The Rams here out with one of their best players on offense, Kyron Williams at running back. That's going to play a factor. And then on defense, these guys get a little bit healthier, have some really strong playmakers in Minkah Fitzpatrick shown here and TJ Watt. I think that's for some reason the Steelers find a way to compete this game. Based on Mike Tomlin's record, we're saying they're going to win the game, but I really love the spot of +9 here. Not a super high total. I think their defense keeps them in the game, and this Rams defense has been atrocious all year long. I think that you get the combination of Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren going a little bit, then this +9 is extremely realistic. Another divisional matchup here. This time I'm leaning into the home team and leaning into the divisional play favorite, and that's the Seahawks -7. The Seahawks have played great this year, and I'm really surprised that they weren't able to pull out the win against the Bengals. They are the 7th best overall team according to PFF, facing the Cardinals, who are the 3rd worst team in PFF. The Cardinals started out this season pretty strong in terms of competition, playing in close games, and even getting a win against the Cowboys, who've looked pretty solid all year long. And even when they weren't winning, they were playing in close games. That trend seems to have faded as of recently. It seems like with the injury of James Conner, their luck has finally caught up with them, and this offense and defense is searching for answers, and there are none to be found. Seahawks, I really like the way the young guys in their defense is playing, especially Devin Witherspoon. But you get guys like Tariq Woolen at cornerback, even Jamal Adams when he's healthy. This defensive secondary looks very solid, and that's passing game is where the Cardinals are favored. Or at least where they're leaning on their strengths without James Conner now, and that's going to be taken away by this Seahawks defense and secondary. I like Kenneth Walker to run the ball all day against this weak defense here. I think the Seahawks control this game as they know they're the much better team and need to get a win. Coming off a bounce-back game with a loss against the Bengals, coming home and taking care of business against the divisional opponent that is very weak right now. And then finally, I want to talk about the I think it's a Sunday night game, maybe Monday night, Niners and Vikings here. I love the Niners to get a bounce back win here, teasing this down just to a straight money line pick. I think the Niners and the Vikings play in a completely different league right now. I really don't care about the injuries to some of the key players like Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey. It does not matter. They are fundamentally a better team than the Vikings, from personnel to coaching to just toughness. Vikings searching for their identity without Justin Jefferson at wide receiver. Against the Bears, they threw the ball the second fewest times in the Kirk Cousins era. They really search for answers. They don't have a guy they can just go to. They got pretty solid tight end in T.J. Hawkinson, but with Fred Warner at linebacker, one of the best coverage linebackers in the game, he's going to be bottled up. And then you have a rookie, Jordan Addison, is the de facto #1 wide receiver for this team, who I can guarantee you has not faced the defense of the 49ers in his career. Vikings, the last team in the league that is not to have a running back not score a rushing touchdown yet. It's this team isn't all that fundamentally sound. They rely a lot on the arm of Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. Without that, I think they're going to have a very tough time moving the football here. I love the Niners to win this game. So the lock would be the Niners money line, Giants +8. I think the Giants might win this game outright, given their desperation. +8 seems like a pretty safe one. Seahawks minus 7.5. That's a Sleewood bet. So here we go, Sleewood. He's going to get on the board here, getting the Seahawks with a big win against the Cardinals. Eagles Dolphins under 52, and then finally the last teaser, Colts and Steelers plus 9 apiece. You might want to notice that I took the 2 units on a lock, more confident this week than I had been in prior weeks with these locks. Love the teaser there. In terms of the Seahawks pick, it's not me. Give all the credits to Sleewood when that one wins. That's going to be a nice one. And then again, keep in mind for anything that the Steelers are 12-4 under Mike Tomlin off a bye, straight up. They're underdogs. Look for them to get a win in LA this week.